Hi, folks. How are you? So, if you just bear with me for 2 minutes, I'm trying to get into the comments here on Facebook, and I'm having difficulties. That's what kept me, but I know we are live on Facebook because it's coming up on my phone, but I'm not getting any comments. So, just bear with me for 2 seconds, folks, please. Freaking thing to your freaking head and on stuck God to your bapping. Hold on. Hold on. Just bear with me, folks, please. All right, you're just gonna have to bear with me for a wee minute, please. Bloody thing, honest to God, to your head in. Just bear with me. Well, hope you are all okay, folks. I know you are there, but I'll see you in a minute. You just bear with me. Hold on. Okay, we're having technicals. Wouldn't be like me, would it? Bear with me. One more minute. Let's log me out. Lovely. Sorry, folks, about this. Grips. Sorry, folks, I am having major technical difficulties here. Hold, just bear with me for 2 seconds. Bloody thing. I know yous are there, but I can't get in to see yous. So hold on. Oh, there I am there. Oh, there I am. So we'll do it on the phone just at the minute until hopefully we'll get the tablet working again. Maybe I fix myself here. I'm all over the place. Well, good evening and welcome to the Charter House. Hope yous are all well. This freaking thing's doing my head in. I don't know why it's not working because I did do what I had to do. I do see yous. I do see you. I'm just going to have to filter here. Well, good evening, everybody. I hope you are all okay. I hope everybody's well. I'm just trying to get this operational. I can't use my phone if I'm stuck, but I'll give this another go here. Hold on. Bloody thing. Freaking thing to your head and shirt. Stop talking to yourself. Stop talking to yourself. Right, hold on. Everything was going fine. Everything was going smoothly. And then it freaked it up. Hold on. Bloody thing. Oh, here we are. Right, I've got yous all. I've got yous all. Okay, folks, so as yous are coming in, please say hello. But I've got the comments up now. I'll keep that over there as an emergency. So, just in case, just bear with me to get YouTube going here. And we are off. Okay, so anyway, you've got my full concentration. Welcome to the Chatter House. Don't forget to say hello when you are coming in, but it looks like there's not very many in. But I think everybody's all starting to fly in now. They're all starting to fly in now. You know the rules of the Chatter House. You must say hello for me to say hello back. If you don't say hello, you remain in the background for the meantime. Well, it just whilst everybody's coming in. It's been a busy, busy day. We were down today, me and our AJ Walker Music. We're down in my mum's care home today because today is my mum's birthday. So my mummy was 83, is 83 today. And Auntie Lillian and AJ Walker Music were down doing a wee bit of singing for her birthday, So we were down there today. So it was a mad rush to get home and whatever. So it's, as I say, it's my mum's birthday today, and then just to let you know as well, Um, it's Dad's first anniversary on Thursday. Where has the year gone? Where has the year gone? I just really, really don't know. It's just flown in so much. And believe it or not, folks, believe it or not, it's a year this week. It's a year this week since we were all at the meet and greet day down in Lily Court because that's the day my daddy passed away. So that's a year ago. Where has that year gone? It's just been unbelievable. There's so much has happened, so much has changed, but we're still here. And that's the main thing. Right. So let's see who is in. There's not very many in at the moment. Thank you very much, Sam. Just seen your comment there, but I'm going to go through the comments now anyway. I'm not expecting too many in at the minute because I know the football's on. I know there's a lot going on in TV and stuff and whatever. So I'm not expecting a lot in. It's mad to I know Carrie, it's unbelievable. So I'm not expecting a lot in tonight anyway, but I know a lot of people do. This is what I was meaning to say to you, folks. Even though there doesn't seem to be very many in, I can actually see afterwards how many watch back. And believe it or not, it triples, the numbers triple of the amount of people on Facebook who watch this back and also people on YouTube as well. So it's still worthwhile doing. User coming in, the people who come in are very, very important. So we will continue on. Okay. Uh Sam, I agree with you. So let's go. Let's go to the chatter house anyway. This will not take long to do. Our Matthew McGinley is in. Our Matthew McGinley straight through the door. Sam Davidson is in. He says, hello, everyone. David Thompson's giving us a wave as well. David, did you see the wee link I put on your post today for the flavours for the slushies? I hope you did. I hope it helped. Archive Ferguson's in, my local historian. There's a load of names there. Is our Michelle in? Is our Michelle in? Kai Ferguson says we're here. Kai says let's get spooky. Sam says happy birthday to your wee mummy. Sure, Kai says mad to think it was a year. Sam says after the football. He says I'm here. Kai says I'm here, but busted after the kids' sports day. Me and our Michelle, man, the bloody tuck shop and the teas and coffees all day. And then I'm for the bloody fun run tomorrow. Lovely. David Thompson says, yes, that's good, David. I hope it helped you. Is our Michelle in? It says she's in, but I haven't seen her. It's not like her not to say hello in case these comments are messing about. I worry about our Michelle. But I do know she's there. Emma Doherty's in as well. She's just give us a wave there. Sorry, folks. I am aware there might be problems here. I don't know what's going on, but these are all starting to come up now. The only one I am aware was in Mazar Michelle, but I haven't seen any comments. But I know she. Oh, there she's there. There she's there. She just commented. Commented. She's just commented. Our Michelle. So our Michelle's in. So we're all right. Emma says me and Michelle we're in the what? The forest. What? The forest? The forest? The forest? What? I don't know. I did say hello. I was first. Michelle, I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in. When I went into this tonight, normally when I just turn this on, the live comes up, but I didn't. I had to actually go into the event and access the live video there. So it's a bit different to normal. Uh-huh. Emma says that's why maybe that's why you can't see the comments. First. Everybody's saying first. Uh-huh. Carrie says they were in first, Emma and Michelle. Okay. I couldn't see it. Maybe because I wasn't in, it didn't show up the comments. So you never know. Well, we're here now. That's the main thing. Right. Okay. So back by popular demand. Back by popular demand, we are going to do another spooky wiki night. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to do very, very similar to the last one we did. If anyone remembers the last one we did, there's our fellas. Just our fellas is over on YouTube, eh? Our fellas is over on YouTube. All right, fellas, over there on your own there. What was I going to say? Yes. So we're actually going to do tonight similar. to the way we did the last spooky night. And the way we're going to do it is, if anybody remembers the last one, we started off with that we looked at the Enfield haunting, which anybody remembers was basically was a council house in Enfield. And there was a lot of stuff went on in there. People were saying, was it real? Was it the girls that were doing it? Was it fake? Was it real? And we looked at that story of the Enfield haunting. But before we go into the second part of tonight, which are basically little clips of videos, which I know you really, really enjoy, tonight we are going to look at a very similar case. And this one we're going to look at first is 30 East Drive. Now, I did mention it in the description of the event. So in the late 1960s, there's our fellas over here now, our fella. Right. In the late 1960s, the Pritchard family lived in 30 East Drive and endured what many described as Europe's most violent poltergeist activity. The entity was nicknamed Fred by the family, and the local legend connects the property's dark history to an ancient monk hanged for murder on the gallows site where the house now sits. Reports ranged from floating objects and switched on and off lights to the terrifying climax where the daughter Diane was dragged up the stairs by her hair. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at this first. Now, this video that I have chosen tonight, folks, is about 15 minutes long, just that's all. And what it basically is, it is a video, but it's mostly, yes, Sam, it's mostly pictures. And I think it's very, very well done. It has a wee bit of drama to it, so we'll all get in the mood. As if sure can bring the video up without frigging it up. But anyway, so this is the story of it's not the Enfield haunting, the 30 East Drive. Just to let you know, the 30 East Drive to this day is still there. And 30 East Drive is actually open for bookings to paranormal teams over the UK. So basically the paranormal teams, they book this and they go and see what they can see, feel and hear and experience. So it is there to this day, and a lot of paranormal teams do go to 30 East Drive. 30 East Drive also was featured on the At the End controversial Most Haunted program as well. So it has popped up on numerous programs, but to tell you the truth, even though it's popped up in most programs, I don't really know the story about it, and how it all began. So that's what we're going to find out tonight. And that's our first part of tonight. And then the second bit is going to be little clips from our Callum. Our Callum watched every documentary in 30 East Drive. Sam says, our Callum, and when you see our Callum tonight on Slap Time, I think he's had a bit of a makeover because he looks completely different, but that's another story. So let's look at 30 East Drive. As usual, I will be watching it with you. If we need to pause and discuss anything, we shall do so. So let's get the video ready when I get my earphones on. Otherwise, there's going to be echo. Right. So here we go. Hopefully this is going to work.
Welcome to Real Scary, the home of true scary stories, where we bring you the most unnerving of content. From British ghost stories to the most gruesome of murders. If you are quite partial to the occasional scary story, you're in the right place. This is the story of the Black Monk of Pontefract, a legendary poltergeist haunting that took place in the late 60s to early 70s at the Pritchard's family home, 30 East Drive on the Chequerfield estate in Pontefract, England. It all started on a hot summer's day in 1966 when the Pritchard family, Joe, his wife Jean, Jean's mother Sarah, and their two children, Diane, 12, and Philip, 15, moved into their new home at 30 East Drive, Pontefract. From the outside, the house looks just like any other 1950s built council house. But little did the Pritchards know that a very dark and very sinister side hid waiting within the walls of their new home. This is the story of the Pontefract poltergeist. It was Philip and his grandmother who first witnessed the unsettling phenomena at the house. A cascade of chalk-like dust began falling almost in slow motion from below the ceiling. But at the time, Sarah thought nothing more of it. However, this was merely the start of countless terrifying paranormal events that would terrorize the Pritchard family for many years to come. Lights would turn themselves on and off, cupboards would shake violently, vast temperature drops were experienced, doors would slam shut, then open, then slam shut again. Family photographs were slashed from corner to corner, and countless objects were witnessed levitating or violently being thrown, or would instantly disappear. But the paranormal activity at 30 East Drive would soon escalate and become much more violent. On another occasion, a large grandfather clock on the upstairs landing was violently chucked down the stairs, narrowly missing Diane. This was mild in comparison to what took place next. Shortly after the grandfather clock incident, she recalls standing at the bottom of the stairs when suddenly she felt a strange sensation and her long hair started to stand on end. Then suddenly, without any warning, she was flung to the ground and dragged, whilst kicking and screaming, by a grunting, invisible force up the stairs. Her parents came rushing from the other room to find her at the top of the stairs in hysterics. After Diane had calmed down, she told her parents what had happened to her, and to their horror, upon checking her for injuries, red hand marks were now clearly visible on Diane's throat. The evil poltergeist behind these terrifying occurrences is said to be the ghost of a 16th century monk known as the Black Monk of Pontefract, also known as Father Michael.
I told you this is a bit dramatic, isn't it? So the poor girl was coming down the stairs, her hair stood on end, and there was hand marks on her throat. Unbelievable, isn't it? Unbelievable. Karen says, just got home from hospital. I'm elated to be back home and get good news. That's good, Karen. I'm glad to hear it. And David's over on YouTube.
Or simply Fred, as he was nicknamed by the Pritchard family. It is said that Father Michael raped and then murdered a young girl by the name of Emma, and was subsequently convicted and sentenced to death by hanging for his heinous crime. And the gallows where Father Michael met his punishment are said to be located on the land that 30 East Drive sits on. In a terrifying twist, the house is also said to be haunted by the ghost of Father Michael's victim, the little girl who answers to the name of Emma. Her spirit, however, is said to be much less violent than the Black Monk, and reports often describe encounters with her as friendly and somewhat mischievous.
So there's not just the monk, there's a little girl called Emma as well as the spirit. Karen Avey says, yikes, I've got a connection to Pontefract. Have you, Karen? Kai Ferguson says this is the War of the Roses cheater area. I'll be diving in to see what I can find. Sam says she must have started puberty. It usually starts like that. That's right, Sam. That's absolutely right. Here we go.
Foul smells constantly travelled through the house, and heavy breathing sounds were heard by the terrified Pritchard family, especially at night, when trying to fall asleep. Joe and Jean were the first in the family to come face to face with a terrifying entity. Jean recalls, whilst Joe and myself were laid in bed reading one night, the lamp suddenly switched off. Then we heard a strange shuffling noise. I told Joe to switch the lamp back on, but it would not work, and we both thought the bulb had blown. I then looked to the bottom of the bed and could not believe what I saw. There was a cloaked, monk-like figure just peering at us both. I completely froze. It then rose up and floated over the top of the bed. I just screamed so loud I woke the neighbours. Joe jumped up and switched the main light on, and the cloaked figure had disappeared as quickly as it had appeared.
That's shit.
The same entity would soon be witnessed by the entire Pritchard family, paranormal investigators, the police, a local MP, and even the local vicar. Numerous exorcisms were attempted at the Pritchards' home, and on each occasion they were met with indignation by the poltergeist, often resulting in physical attacks against the priests attempting the exorcism. Nothing seemed to be successful in forcing the poltergeist to cease and leave. In fact, all interventions seemed to only enhance the poltergeist activity. On another recorded incident, Diane was found pinned by furniture heavy enough to crush her, though she was fortunately and strangely unhurt. She claimed to have fallen asleep in her room several times, only to find herself on the bedroom floor with her mattress on top of her. In 1969, the Pritchard family was advised to hang bulbs of garlic in every room of the house, and shortly after doing so, the poltergeist activity surprisingly ceased. Or did it? Terrifying poltergeist activity had now been reported in the adjoining houses to the Pritchards' house. Neighbours reported seeing a dark figure lurking in the area. And one such incident took place in December. A Mrs. Mountain, who lived in the adjoining property to the Pritchards, was at her kitchen sink washing the dishes when she suddenly felt someone standing behind her. She assumed that it was her nephew Ian, who would often sneak in to make her jump. She said, "Oh Ian, give over," and as she turned round she found herself staring not at Ian, but at a tall, misty figure dressed in what she describes as a black monk's habit with a cowl over its head. Its position prevented her from seeing any face. Oddly enough, Mrs. Mountain felt no fear, only curiosity. Then the figure just vanished into thin air. The disturbing incidents continued at the three-bedroom home of the Pritchards. The house shook to the continued sound of banging doors, loud knocking and mighty thuds like kettle drums. Sheets were continually torn off beds, and on one particular disturbing incident, as a pair of Grandma Sarah's sheepskin gloves were seen to conduct as Diane was singing "Onward, Christian Soldiers." The youngest child of the Pritchards, Diane, who was 12 at the time of moving in, became the main focus of the poltergeist activity. And although considered incredibly rare for a poltergeist to cause physical harm to a person, this was not the case regarding Diane. And oddly, as she grew older, the attacks only intensified. The poltergeist violence towards Diane included face slapping, physically throwing her out of bed while she was sleeping, yanking at her hair, often leaving clumps of it on the floor, and constantly whispering in her ear. The hauntings came and went, but during the last few years the Pritchards spent at the house, they began to think the presence was demonic. Objects would randomly hurl themselves into the air, thundering crashes came from the floorboards, and in perhaps the most famous incident, a series of upside-down crosses appeared on the walls. The family would regularly come home to a ransacked house and overturned furniture, along with the fleeting sound of heavy breathing from an invisible force. Things had now reached a tipping point for the Pritchards, and they could take no more. They were unable to withstand the paranormal terror at the house any longer, and the family abandoned the house in early 1973, and 30 East Drive, Pontefract, has not been lived in ever since.
No.
Today 30 East Drive is advertised as a haunted house and is available to rent, for those brave enough, that is. And if you are feeling really brave, you can even sleep over. In October 2016, paranormal investigator Claire Cowell was conducting a séance at the property when she took a chilling photograph. The photograph showed the arm of a monk's robe seemingly clutching rosary beads. Another paranormal group visiting the house in June 2017 took a selection of photographs, and upon viewing them when they got home, they were amazed at what they spotted in one of the pictures.
To see that, folks, I just paused it there so you can see it. So basically, nobody has lived in this house for years and years and years. As I said to you before, it can be hard out for paranormal investigators to go and look. And the strange thing about it is, when you go there, everything is how it was. All the old furniture is there. All the old wallpaper's there. It's like the Mary Celeste, it's just as if it's been abandoned. Everything is still there. Now, I paused this for a reason, and just because I want you to see that. Pardon me, because in the mirror there, you can see a girl in that mirror, and that's one of the photographs that was taken by this girl, Claire. It's unbelievable. Sam says shit would run down my legs. Lovely. Kai says, I don't think I'd have lived there that long. I'd run right away.
There was something that looks like a young girl sat on the stairs, peering at them through the mirror.
Yeah.
Another group of mediums visiting the property reported picking up the spirit of a mischievous young female in the small bedroom. And this image was taken by the group during a disturbance in the early hours, unnervingly in the small bedroom.
So there you go, there's another image. That seems to be, now, in my eyes, that looks like, now to me, that looks like a lady. To me, that looks like a lady there standing, or is it? Look, it doesn't look very happy as well. Or is it a man? Guy says, oh, what the F? What do you think? Do you think that looks like a woman? I think that looks like a woman in a dress or a gown. That's what I get, you know? That's the same girl as the last one. I don't know, it's weird, isn't it?
I now understand why the local papers reported the following. Quote, for several decades, Borley Rectory held the title of being the most haunted house in Great Britain. And perhaps it still would hold that unenviable title had it not burnt to the ground in 1939. This unenviable title now belongs to 30 East Drive, Pontefract. My conclusion? I think what makes 30 East Drive so interesting is because it's not like a stereotypical haunted location. It's not a Georgian manor or an old museum.
Absolutely.
It's not a stately home nor an ancient castle. The house known as 30 East Drive is a normal house on a normal street that housed normal people. In fact, The house on East Drive is a house probably just like yours.
Lovely.
Thank you for joining me in our latest edition of Scary Stories. I do hope that you enjoyed.
So there you go, folks. If anybody wants to see any more, please go to YouTube and go to Scaries at Scary Stories on YouTube. That was unbelievable. Let's see if I get myself back here again because I always frig this up. How on? Let's see. Hold on. So there you go, folks. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But what I'm going to say to you is, as the man said, when we do, when you think of a haunted house or you think of anything like that, right? You always think it's an old house. You always think, as your man says, the Georgian house or a mansion or maybe a psychiatric hospital from the old days, but not necessarily. And this is what gets me really, really interested because I would, even though that was a while ago when this happened, I myself am very, very interested in what you would say is modern hauntings, which would be like modern buildings that are haunted as well, say like hospitals or things like that there that really gets me going. It really, really interests me. And can I just say something else here? Um, even though even I'm gonna read these videos out here, these comments out, but even though that video was mostly photographs, it had me gripped. And I don't know about you, but it had me gripped and it told the story well. And it didn't go on too long. It told us what we needed to hear. It gave us the evidence that we needed to hear. And it gave us the background, a little bit of the background, which we needed to hear. So well done to Scary Stories, or whatever you call it, that channel, because I thought it was very well done. Plus, we had the wee bit of drama with the background noises and all the effects as well. But I thoroughly enjoyed that video. And as I say, it was nice and short, not too long, and it didn't drag on. Now, there's one more thing I want to say before I read the comments. Like Sam says, the land is haunted. It is the land, Sam, because obviously this is where this monk was. This is where he was hung and whatever. Now it has came to my attention that maybe I'm wrong. The 30 East Drive in later years with paranormal investigators. There's an expression that when paranormal investigators go to somewhere and there's not much activity, they would say it has went flat. And this is what I have heard about 30 East Drive recently. Is this because there's so many people going to it? Is this because there's so many investigations? What do you think? But I have heard that it has went a little bit flat. But that's only what I heard. I don't know if it's true or not. Is it because all these people are going all the time or whatever? I don't know. But that's what I heard anyway. Right. Gemma Grogan says, well, Emma Doherty says, why do I do this? Cardi says, just like mine. No. Michelle Grogan says, in all seriousness, my house is haunted. Carrie will tell you. Carrie's replying to Emma saying, Emma says, it remind me to say that I'm not joining the next one. Sam says, I will go in and watch the most haunted in 30 East Drive again. Carrie's replying to Michelle said 100%, but the negative energy is gone now. There's still a child, the dog, and dad there, but they're all right and just continuing what they did in life. Sam says it might be the land that's haunted. Sam says it's hiding. And Carrie says maybe the entity has achieved its aim. No, it's just that I did read an article about it. That recently there's a lot of investigators have been to it. And yes, there might be a little bit of something, but they're saying it's quite flat. So there you go. I don't know what that means. I don't know what would cause it. I just don't know. Ask Phyllis what happened to her when she sat in my windowsill. What happened to Phyllis in your windowsill, Sam? Well, I'm going to have to hear this now. What happened to our fellas on your windy so? Windy so? What happened? I know there's a wee bit. It's actually, the delay's not too bad tonight. So it's not so, we'll wait and see. Why Sam or whoever's going to tell us what happened to our fellas? The next one we're going to look at is 20 minutes long, and that's us. All right? I'm not keeping this long. This is, dare we ask? We're all waiting, Emma. We're all waiting with a bit of breath. What happened to our fellas? Right. Someone banged on the window. We were outside. Oh, Christ. So you were outside the house and somebody banged on your window? From the inside? That's shit. And kicked. Right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Slapped Ham. Slapped Ham, I think, for short videos and for experiences and whatever, I find they're very, very good because you get, it's not just one video, you're getting a whole load of experiences and whatever. Oh, it is. So we're going to go to Slapped Ham, and these are a few experiences as well. As I say, the video is only going to last for about 15-20 minutes. Pardon me. So let's go and watch our Slapped Ham. And by the way, where do you see our Calm in Slapped Ham? Do you remember Calm used to be on Slapped Ham? He had the glasses, no, or whatever. I think he's had a makeover. Where do you see the difference? Hang on. Where do you see this? You slap with me. Sam says my favorite channel. Right, so let's get this ready here. Let's get this party started, right? So where is it? Here's here. So here we go. It's the Slapped Ham with our Calm, who I think's had a makeover. So let's see.
How you doing? I'm Callan, and this is Slapped Ham.
Look,
You're about to...
look, it's completely different. It's completely different. He's no glasses or nothing. I think he's dyed his beard as well. Shit, that's desperate. I think he's dyed his beard. But he looks completely different. He looks completely different. But we're not here to talk about Calm. We're here to talk about the ghosts. So let's see what happens here. So let's start it again because I'm waffling.
to
So
see some really scary videos. So hit that subscribe button and get ready for more creepy content, just like this.
I don't like this.
When it comes to scary videos, this first one certainly has the creep factor. This unsettling clip was shared on TikTok by user Sarah from East ETN, who says she captured something strange in her infant's bedroom late one night.
Sam, that's desperate.
According to Sarah, nothing unusual had ever happened since moving into the home. She mentions that her family has always had what she calls visitors, loved ones who've passed, but nothing that ever made her feel afraid. Until now.
My daughter's been asleep for 2 hours.
She makes her way down the hall to her daughter's room to investigate. When she enters, she finds a toy playing a tune on its own. The toy is sitting several feet away from the crib, well out of reach. Her daughter is sound asleep and hasn't moved.
She's all the way over there. How is this standing up perfectly upright and turned on?
There's no obvious reason for the toy to have activated. No one touched it. No one was in the room. But the toy isn't the strangest part.
There's no way.
If you rewatch the footage carefully from around the 39-second mark onwards, something else becomes visible. Standing in the darkness of the room, partially obscured, there appears to be the figure of a small girl. The shape is grey, faintly visible, and seems to shift slightly as the camera moves. Sarah's caption reads, "I wish I was making this up. Help, what do I do?" She goes on to say she prayed over her entire house with a rosary in hand and planned to do a full cleansing the following day. Some viewers suggested the toy could have been triggered by a low battery, a vibration, or a sensor malfunction. The figure in the darkness, they argued, could be pareidolia, the brain finding familiar shapes in shadow and low light. Others weren't so sure. They pointed out how clearly the shape resembles a child and how unsettling it is that it appears in an infant's room at the same time a
Pareidolia? I have never heard of
toy
that.
activates on its own. So what do you think Sarah captured in this scary video? A glitchy toy and a trick of the shadows, or something watching over her daughter's crib that she was never meant to see?
She's all the way over there. How is this standing up perfectly upright and turned on? She can't reach that.
Want to know how I made this?
This is
by
just
playing
a
mobile
promotion,
game
folks.
while
Hold
watching
on.
There to get started. There to get started. I'll be checking my account balance in just a few days to see how much I've earned, and you should too. All right, now let's get back to the creepy stuff. This short but eerie clip was posted to X on 14th February 2026 by user Daniel807388113 alongside a simple caption, "Caught on my motion-activated security camera a ghost?"
Oh, look at that. See, it's like a blob. Wow.
Something can be seen moving through the shot, a shape that doesn't quite match what you'd expect from a passing animal, a person, or headlights casting shadows. What makes the clip notable is the motion activation itself. These cameras are designed to trigger based on physical movement within a set range.
Excuse me for a
Whatever
minute,
set
folks.
it off was close enough and substantial enough to register on the sensor. Some viewers suggested it could be an insect close to the lens, a stray light reflection, or a small animal moving through the camera's infrared field. These are common triggers for security cameras at night. Others felt the shape and movement didn't match any of those explanations, arguing it looked more like a translucent figure passing through the frame. So what do you think triggered that camera? A moth, a reflection, a neighbour's cat, or something that shouldn't have been there at all? This next clip
dear.
was sent in by a viewer named Spencer Girl, who suggested it for the channel after spotting it on Facebook. The footage comes from a CCTV camera mounted inside a vendor mall in Spencer, Iowa, called Collector's Cove. Then the camera catches something odd. Skeptics pointed out that vibrations from nearby machinery, air conditioning drafts, or items poorly balanced on shelves could explain the fall. If the products were stacked unevenly, one shifting could cause a chain reaction over time. But others noted the movement looks deliberate, as if something unseen was making its way down the aisle.
Oh, that's better. We can see it now. Something fell off the shelf.
I'm recording this to see if I can catch it on camera this time.
This scary video was shared on TikTok by user Bundalo Gakermish, who appears to be home alone in their apartment when something deeply unsettling begins to happen.
I'm home alone for the night and I swear I've been hearing noises.
Did you hear that?
And usually this happens, but this time
Oh. Oh, chill.
In the footage, a voice can be heard calling out to the user from somewhere inside the apartment.
Oh.
No one else is supposed to be home.
this happens so much now. I'm tired.
Commenters were quick to point out a possible explanation, or rather a deeply unsettling one. Many suggested it could be what's known as a mimic. Mimics are entities said to imitate human voices in order to lure people closer. The concept appears across cultures and centuries. In Appalachian folklore, families living in remote mountain hollows would warn their children never to follow a familiar voice calling from the woods, because it might not be who it sounds like. The idea goes back even further. In ancient texts, the crocodile was described as a beast that could imitate human speech to draw victims out of their homes at night. In Brazilian folklore, the curupira, a forest guardian, is said to mimic the cries of loved ones to disorient travelers and lead them deeper into the jungle. And in Japanese tradition, the yamabiko is a mountain spirit whose voice echoes back to hikers, sometimes saying things the original speaker never said. Whether rooted in superstition or something else, the pattern is consistent across unrelated cultures, something that sounds human but isn't, calling out from just beyond sight. So what do you think was calling out in that apartment? A neighbour's voice carrying through the walls, or something imitating a human to see who'd answer?
I'm alone for the night, and I swear I've been hearing noises.
Oh. Can I just say something here, folks? And I'm going to be quite honest with you here. This girl sounds absolutely terrified. She sounds, excuse me, she sounds genuinely terrified. She really, really does. Some of these videos you get, oh, I'm afraid, and all that there, but this girl sounds genuinely terrified. And I'm going to be quite honest with you. See, if I heard that voice, I would shit myself. You know what I mean? But honestly, I just wanted to say that she sounds genuinely terrified. And Sam says that happened to me when I worked in Beaver Hospital and it called me by my full title, Samuel. I nearly shit my trunks. Lovely. But honestly, that girl does. She sounds traumatized. She really, really does.
Happens, but this time I'm so fucking tired.
Oh.
We've covered the Luna Park ghost train fire before on this channel. But today, we're looking at one lesser-known detail from that tragedy, a photograph that once you know its context becomes deeply unsettling.
So what was this about then?
First, a quick summary for those unfamiliar. On June 9th, 1979, a fire broke out inside the ghost train ride at Luna Park in Sydney, Australia. 7 people were killed, including 6 children. The cause of the fire was never officially determined. Decades later, the New South Wales Police offered a $1 million reward for information, but the case remains unsolved. Now here's where it gets strange. This photograph was taken at Luna Park on the day of the fire. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary theme park photo. A costumed character posing with guests, the kind of snapshot families take at amusement parks all the time. But 2 things about this image have never been explained. The man wearing the costume has never been identified. No one knows who he was, whether he worked at the park, or why he was there that day. His identity remains a complete mystery.
Oh?
And then there's the costume itself. Multiple people have pointed out that it bears a striking resemblance to depictions of Moloch, an ancient figure from Canaanite tradition historically associated with child sacrifice.
What?
That detail alone would be enough to unsettle most people, but there's one more thing. The child pictured standing beside this unidentified figure is Damien Godson, one of the 7 victims who died in the ghost train fire later that same night.
Oh my God.
This photo was taken just hours before the tragedy. Some have dismissed the connection as a coincidence. Theme parks have costume characters, and someone simply snapped a photo. The resemblance to Moloch, they argue, is a case of people reading meaning into something after the fact. Others find the combination of details too specific to brush aside: an unidentified man, a costume resembling an ancient symbol of child sacrifice, a child who would die in that same park hours later, and no explanation for any of it even after more than 4 decades.
Oh my god. They're desperate.
This next story has been circulating widely online and has generated significant attention in the UFO community, but it's worth examining carefully. Recent UK headlines claim that President Donald Trump has authorized access to classified UFO-related sites, including locations allegedly housing non-human bodies. The claims stem from comments attributed to Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson, who sits on the House Oversight Committee. Burleson reportedly told a podcast that the White House backed his request to visit classified facilities connected to unidentified aerial phenomena. It's a bold claim. But here's what's important to note about the source chain. No public document has surfaced confirming what level of access was actually granted, or what, if anything, the facilities contain. The story is built primarily on secondhand accounts, podcast comments, and media interpretation of those comments. That doesn't mean the story is false, but it does mean the gap between what's been claimed and what's been verified is still significant. To add to the mystery, just last week we had former President Barack Obama claiming that aliens are real.
Are aliens real?
They're real, but I haven't seen them, and they're not being kept in, what is it?
Area 51?
Area 51. There's no underground facility, unless there's this enormous conspiracy, and they hid it from the President of the United States.
Then less than 24 hours later, he backpedaled his statement.
Where are the aliens?
Some viewers see this as the beginning of genuine disclosure and a crack in the wall of secrecy that UFO researchers have been pushing against for decades. Others argue it's political theatre, vague enough to generate headlines without actually confirming anything concrete. So what do you think is really happening here? The first steps toward genuine UFO transparency, or carefully worded statements designed to generate buzz without actually revealing anything new? If you like scary videos, then you'll love this next one. This clip was shared anonymously in a Facebook group by a parent who says their son has always claimed to have an invisible playmate in their house. The parent's caption reads, "My son has always said he has a playmate in our house, but I never really believed him." The footage comes from what appears to be a home security camera. It shows the boy playing alone in a room. Nothing seems out of the ordinary at first, just a child entertaining himself as children do. But then something happens.
Oh.
The boy's arm appears to lift suddenly in a motion that looks involuntary, as though something has grabbed it.
Oh, look at that.
It doesn't look like a natural movement, it's abrupt, almost jerky, as if an unseen hand tugged at him to get his attention. And at the same moment, a teddy bear sitting nearby appears to shift position. The parent added, "Not sure, but I think his friend pulled his arm to get his attention." Some viewers suggested the boy could have simply startled himself, or that the arm movement was a muscle spasm. The teddy bear, they argued, could have been resting in an unstable position and shifted on its own from a slight vibration. Others pointed out the timing, both movements happening in the same instant, and the fact that the child has consistently spoken about an invisible companion. If it was a spasm or a coincidence, why did two separate things move at exactly the same time? So what do you think that camera captured? A child's imagination running wild and a couple of coincidental movements? Or evidence that his
No.
invisible friend might not be so imaginary after all?
It's weird, isn't it? I think that's Johnny looking in there. I think it is. Okay,
This
folks,
eerie
we're nearly
clip
at
was
the
shared
end
on
now.
Instagram by user VideoChica89, who says they set up a nanny cam on their landing after repeatedly hearing strange sounds at night. What they found on the footage was something they weren't expecting. The camera captured their dog sitting at the top of the stairs, perfectly still, staring into the darkness for over 4 hours.
4 hours?
According to the owner, the dog won't use those stairs anymore. So what do you think that dog was watching? A sound it couldn't quite
4
locate,
hours.
or something standing on those stairs that only it could see?
Johnny, I'm going to give you a ring after I finish tonight.
If you want to see more scary videos, then hit that subscribe button and turn on all channel notifications. That way you'll always know when we drop our scary video.
Yes, folks, if you're on YouTube, please go to YouTube and follow Slap Tam. They're absolutely brilliant. And by the way, I am aware there is some people watching on YouTube. I can't even speak. What you could do for me is, if you don't mind this video, could you give it a big thumbs up for me, please? There's a wee thumbs up button under the video. If you could give it a big thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Compilations. The Holloman Air Force Base landing is one of the oldest and most persistent stories in UFO lore. Versions of it have circulated for decades, surfacing in books, documentaries, and leaked accounts attributed to military insiders. But a recent post on X has brought the story back into the spotlight, this time with a new detail attached to it. The post, shared by the account UAP Reporting Center, references claims made by Dr. Eric Davis, an astrophysicist who served as an advisor to the Pentagon's Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program known as AATIP.
And they went off. And you're referring to an event that is often just called the Holloman landing.
The
Holloman Air Force Base in April of 1964.
That's right.
According to the Post, Davis has stated that former President George H.W. Bush was privately briefed on the alleged Holloman incident.
The information, so he went ahead and completed the rest of that briefing, and that's when Bush learned about a landing at an Air Force base in New Mexico by a UFO, humanoid type, non-human intelligence came off the craft and actually met with uniformed senior Air Force officers and some civilian CIA personnel.
The story itself centers on an event said to have taken place at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico in 1964. According to long-standing accounts, 3 unidentified craft approached the base and one of them landed directly on the tarmac. A humanoid, non-human entity reportedly exited the craft and was met by a group of Air Force and CIA officials. If true, it would represent one of the most significant events in modern history. But the evidence supporting it remains entirely anecdotal. According to Davis, Bush was briefed on this incident during his time as CIA director in the mid-1970s. But when Bush reportedly asked for more information for deeper access to whatever program or knowledge surrounded the event, he was told he didn't have a need to know. That particular detail has drawn attention on its own. The idea that the director of the Central Intelligence Agency could be denied access to information within his own intelligence community raises uncomfortable questions about who controls what and how compartmentalized certain programs may actually be. The conversation between Bush and Davis allegedly took place in 2003, decades after the supposed event and decades after Bush's time at the CIA. Davis reportedly recounted it in the context of broader discussions about unacknowledged special access programs. It's worth being clear about what we actually have here. No public documents confirm any aspect of this story. There's no declassified footage of the Holloman landing, no official statement from the Air Force or the CIA acknowledging it. What exists are testimonies, secondhand accounts, and references in UFO research literature that have accumulated over the years. The Holloman story first gained wider attention in the 1970s when a documentary called UFOs Past, Present and Future included a dramatized sequence of the alleged landing. The producers claimed the recreation was based on real footage held by the Air Force, though that footage has never been publicly released. In the years since, various researchers and alleged insiders have added layers to the account, but the core claim has never been independently verified. Skeptics argue that the Holloman story is a classic example of UFO mythology, a compelling narrative that grows more detailed over time through retelling, but never produces the kind of hard evidence needed to confirm it. They point out that the lack of documentation after more than 60 years speaks for itself. Those on the other side counter that the absence of evidence isn't evidence of absence, particularly when the subject involves programs specifically designed to avoid oversight. They argue that testimonies from figures like Davis, who held security clearances and worked within official government programs, carry more weight than anonymous internet claims. Whether you view this as credible testimony or an elaborate piece of UFO folklore that's taken on a life of its own, the Holloman story continues to occupy a unique space in the broader disclosure conversation. It's old enough to have a history, specific enough to be investigated, and just unverified enough to remain permanently in question. So what do you think really happened at Holloman Air Force Base in 1964? A myth that's been polished by decades of retelling until it feels real. An elaborate disinformation campaign designed to muddy the waters around something else entirely. Or a genuine encounter that the most powerful intelligence officials in the world were told they didn't have clearance to fully understand. Just a quick reminder, if you want to try free cash and grab that $5 sign-up bonus, use my link.
Okay, folks, there you go. Just going to get myself back on here again. There you go. So, UFOs, do they exist? Do they not exist? Do you know something? I don't think we'll ever get to the bottom of those. Now, I did hear about this thing about Donald Trump supposed to be releasing stuff so everybody could hear about it and learn more, but haven't heard any more about it. I don't know when it's going to be, if it's ever going to happen. So there you go. Well, folks, just before we go tonight, I am going to tell you what we're doing next week. And the Chatterhouse is going back to its roots. We haven't covered anything for a long, long time about life, about maybe mental health issues or anything like that there. So we're going back to our roots. So next week, folks, what we're going to be looking at is post-traumatic stress disorder. That's PTSD. We're going to learn more about it. We're going to find out what triggers it, what causes it. We're going to learn about trauma. So that's going to be next week. We're going to be looking at post-traumatic stress disorder, otherwise known as PTSD. So we're going back to your roots, and we're going to learn something that I've only learned about recently. I have met some people who do unfortunately have this. But before this, I knew very, very little about it. So that's next week, folks, at 7:30. The Chatterhouse looks at PTSD. Well, look, folks, thanks very much for joining me tonight. I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you for the ones who made an effort to come in tonight. Carrie says, back to a chit chat next week. That'll be nice and a really interesting chat. Thank you for tonight, and I'll see you all next time. And Sam says, until the government gives us more information, I will not believe in UFO. So we'll just leave you with Sam's final words. Our Sam. All right, folks, good night. Take care. And I'll see you all next week. And as I say, we'll be here at 7:30. And again, we're going to be talking about PTSD. And it's something I'm really interested in myself. As I say, I know a little bit about it now, but I want to learn more. So I'll see you all next week. Good night. Take care.